Welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Andrea Jackson. Leaders from historically black colleges and universities are heading to Washington, D.C. Their meeting could change how these institutes of higher learning are seen on Capitol Hill. Joining us to talk about it is David K. Sheppard. He's the Chief Business and Legal Officer for Thurgood Marshall College Fund. Welcome, David. How are you?
Andrea, I am great. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
Well, thanks for joining us. This is a very important topic. What is the HBCU Fly In all about?
Well, Andrea, this is the premier event for our presidents and chancellors representing our nation's HBCUs, historically black colleges, universities, and predominantly black institutions, to come to DC annually to meet with members of Congress and agency administrators, representatives of the Biden administration, to talk about issues of law and policy impacting our institutions and the students that attend them. And so this is the 8th year that the Thurgood Marshall College Fund will be hosting the HBCU Fly-In, and doing so for the second time in partnership with the Business Roundtable.
How did Senator Tim Scott get involved, and what is his role in all of this year?
So Senator Tim Scott is one of 4 co-chairs of the bipartisan bicameral HBCU caucus. And when the HBCU Fly-In was originally conceived, he was one of our original sponsoring members of Congress who participated in the Fly-In. So he has been doing it in partnership with us for each of these 8 years. And that's the kind of access that this opportunity provides to the community that we represent, the opportunity for them to engage and have an impact on the decisions that members of Congress are making on Capitol Hill.
And David, how important are these conversations now that diversity, equity, and inclusion policies in education and even in corporate America are right now under the microscope?
It's particularly important. The partnership that we have with the Business Roundtable is particularly significant because that's an organization that represents the CEOs of over 200 of America's leading companies. And it's important that they have the opportunity to dialogue with our presidents and chancellors about the challenges and the opportunities that they are facing, and figuring out how to partner together to provide the students that our schools educate with employment opportunities in corporate America upon graduation. That's a role that PMCF has in providing professional development opportunities in partnership with the Business Roundtable and their member companies. And it's something that our presidents and chancellors obviously have a vested interest in.
Yeah, opportunity, you said it there, and inspiration. Those are 2 key factors. What do you want members of Congress to understand about the current state of HBCUs?
Well, I think the most important thing in this environment is the needs that our institutions have around infrastructure. Unfortunately, since the inception of our institutions, they've been historically underfunded. And after the most recent academic year, enrollment at public HBCUs was up over 44% over the prior academic year. And that was prior to the Supreme Court's decision in the Harvard UNC cases, which is going to markedly increase applications for enrollment. But the problem is we lack the resources to have the infrastructure to take on all of the additional student interests in attending our institutions. So there's a premium on having additional federal support to build that infrastructure, whether it's residential halls, academic spaces, research spaces, to both house and educate those students.
And one last question for you. What are some of the hot button topics you want discussed during these meetings? Obviously, infrastructure and opportunity are 2 big hot button issues.
Yeah, another one of our policy priorities and things that we are focused on is research and development opportunities, particularly both with the federal government and with corporate America. So our institutions have the opportunity to grow their research and development portfolios, which lends itself to building intellectual property, which is another potential source of revenue for our institutions. And then basic needs around Title III funding, doubling the Pell Grant funding, which is critical to most of the students that attend our institutions. And as I mentioned ago, institutional infrastructure dollars.
David, great information. Good luck with everything in Washington, D.C. with regard to the HBCUs, the topics and the funding. For more information on the HBCU Fly-In, go to tmcf.org.